Niners gave up 3 first-round picks, really 2 first-round picks, and then swapped to draft Trey Lance 3rd overall. Shady, should the Niners move on from Trey Lance?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no just because he's due some money, right? They own some money. They took him high in the draft, so he's making about $4 million a year. It's not a lot for a quarterback. I think one thing we always talk about on this show is the Niners quarterbacks, they always get hurt. You always bring that up. So why not keep him on the team? It's like it doesn't kill you to keep him. Even if he's not playing well, maybe, Kyle is a smart guy and he thinks he's super intelligent, which I think he is. Maybe he can fix him. Maybe he needs him a little bit more time. I think Brock Purdy's come off an injury. Sam Darnold. I mean, they said he's doing pretty good in camp, but he used to say he's seen Casper all the time, as in seeing ghosts, right? So as much as we want to pass up on Trey Lance because he's not playing well, you got to keep in mind, like this quarterback room they have, the depth chart, it ain't really great.
It's not.
Brock Purdy's a rookie going the second year off injury. No real development from year 1 to year 2. Sam Darnold, like I talked about, his career, you know what it's been. And then Trey Lance. We don't really know much about him, but I just think that it doesn't kill you or hurt you to keep him on the staff, on the team.
I think 2-5. I agree with you to that part, but I'll say it like this. You have to move on in your mind.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, yeah.
If you keep him on the roster physically, great. But in your mind, you have to move on. What was great about being at practice today, we went to watch the Rams versus the Raiders, is you got to see how many reps the 1s were getting, the 2s were getting, the 3s were getting. Jimmy G was taking a lot of the reps, but then you also got Aiden O'Connell from Purdue in there. You also saw Brian Hoyer getting in there. When I was watching the Rams side of things, Matthew Stafford was getting his reps, but I saw Stetson Bennett getting some reps too.
Right.
I didn't see the 3rd or 4th string quarterbacks for the Rams. Trey Lance does not need to be taking reps from Sam Darnold, nor does he need to be taking reps from Brock Purdy. That's where I'm at with all of this. If you want to keep him on the roster, great. If you don't want to move on from him physically, that is fine. But in your minds, you have to move on. Sam Darnold has not proven enough in general, nor in this system. Brock Purdy has not played enough. Do not take any reps from those 2 quarterbacks to pay Trey Lance. Keep him on the roster, sure. Wait for his stock to rise, but in your mind, you have to move on.
It sounds like you have my guy Trey Lance as the 3rd quarterback on the San Francisco 49ers.
They do too.
Right? With that being said, you have to move on. You have to take some calls right now and figure out how you can trade Trey Lance. You have an extremely young quarterback in Brock Purdy that you have given the keys of the ship to. You came out and said if he don't throw 10 picks or play extremely bad in practice, this is his job, right? The players have came out and said, basically, we want Purdy under center. We're a better football team with Purdy. They already have given Purdy the keys to the ship. And he's a 7th-round pick. He's extremely young, right? It is not like it's Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers is going to give you 2 years and he's going to help develop Zach Wilson. No. If he stays around, Trey Lance will never see the football field. You have to let Trey Lance go, see what you can get from him, see if somebody else can develop him. But right now you have him as the 3rd string quarterback. You hear talks about Sam Darnold outplaying him. If you have that about Trey Lance, you have to move on and figure out how you can deal him because he's never going to start. And not only that, he's never really going to get a fair shot to start because you've given the keys to an extremely young quarterback in Purdy.
Yeah, the problem is this is the most injured team in the NFL.
I hear you.
You mentioned ghosts. Casper's friendly. That nightmare that happened with Philadelphia, they don't want to relive that. They can't relive that. Now, obviously, you would get another 3rd-string quarterback. You'd get somebody who's, getting cut at camp and pick somebody up. But why? Trey Lance has already been in the system. Obviously, doesn't look like he's been in the system, but he's in the building. And again, if you trade off of him, now you're really saying we messed this whole situation up.
Yeah.
There's egos involved.
Yeah.
There's a reaction if they're not good this year. I think it's too soon to move on from him. I don't think that they can because of the constant injury situation that they have. And we haven't seen Brock Purdy play at the beginning of the season. We haven't seen him for an entirety of the season. You mentioned it yesterday, all of the one-hit, I don't call them one-hit wonders, but guys who have come out and won games and then been given the job only to be proven that they're not ready for it. I don't know. Brock Purdy looks extremely confident. He came in and did something that I don't ever really remember seeing a rookie do, let alone the last pick in the draft. So he's earned the starting position, but they don't really have a guy. They have Brock Purdy, and we think he's going to do well. We think he's going to look like he did when he came in. But there's a very real chance he doesn't. There's a very real chance he's not fully recovered. He did not have a full off season. He didn't.
But to me, though, that chance is a real chance that you could take with any quarterback year 3 and under who's like been injured, which there's a lot of.
No, he played 7 games. He's this last pick in the draft. He was a rookie. He hasn't even played an entire
But
season
he's played
yet.
and won playoff games more than that of other quarterbacks, like even Deshaun Watson in the playoffs.
I think
he's
it's
done
bigger
some
than
things.
that. We missing the big picture in this thing. It is bigger than that. Last year, Jimmy G came from the NFC Championship game. They did not have a losing season. He came from the NFC Championship game. And right when they lost, Shanahan said, this is Trey area. This is his job. And now the very next year after his injury, he's the 3rd quarterback.
Yeah.
That tells me that they do not believe in Trey Lance, period. What he is showing on tape in practice, in preseason, as a coaching staff, they don't believe in him.
Correct.
And that is why you're so quick to give it to Purdy after 7 games, whether he won or lost, right? Yes, he still has to prove it again this year. Cal don't care. He's saying that this is my guy, and then it's possibly Darnold. That's saying we do not believe in Trey Lance anymore, period. That's what it says.
And they shouldn't. And they shouldn't in my mind. But my thing is, like, they shouldn't believe in Trey Lance. He's given them no reason to believe in him.
Right.
In my mind, you can move on from him now. You can.
That's why I think it's way gone.
Well, here's the thing.
Because if Sam, you got more belief in Sam than the dude you gave up 3 firsts for?
After seeing what Geno was able to do in Seattle, I'm now like, you know what? I'm not just going to toss Sam out because what I've seen from Sam. Sam drafted to the New York Jets. Geno Smith drafted to the New York Jets. Both had laughable careers in New York. Geno has since gone to Seattle and was a Pro Bowler last year. I don't know if or that Sam will do that.
You didn't watch Sam in Carolina?
He wasn't great, but I know that Sam has all the. I know Sam got all the tools. I know that much, and I know that Kyle Shanahan is a very, very smart head coach.
Sam wasn't bad when McCaffrey played.
Listen here, man.
Look at his numbers when McCaffrey played. He wasn't that bad.
That's all I'm saying. If we're talking about Sam Darnold over a kid that you gave up 3 first-round picks for, and it's only going into his 2nd year, and he's coming off of injury, and you basically saying that Sam is in front of this dude, that tells you that what the young fella has shown you in practice and in preseason is
That's
that
facts.
this ain't it.
I agree with you, though. I mean, for him to be the third, on the depth chart, it tells you a lot about him. And I mean, not even that. We watched how Trey Lance looked when he played. I don't need them to tell me that. I got my own eyes. I got my own eyes.
But true.
My only thing is this: is like he's already on the team. You see what I'm saying? So like you just to cut him or trade him and then try to go out there and find another quarterback. It's like you already have him there. But it doesn't kill you to keep him on the team.
But 2-5, he's
don't
not
believe in
playing. He's not even playing like he's been on the team for a long time. Remember preseason game 1, like Trey Lance is playing as though he hasn't been on the team for a long time.
But the only way he was really effective is when they were using design plays for him. Like, he is still a big body. You can still utilize him that way. And at the third string, what are you going to get? Are you going to get like a functioning third string quarterback? Like, he's third string. It doesn't matter who's out there floating around. That's going to be the answer.
I would just give me a vet. Give me a vet. They have Brandon Allen on the roster right now. He just doesn't have much NFL starting experience, if at all. 2016 pick, I believe, out of Arkansas.
Okay, hold on.
Just go get me a vet.
But when you're the third round, when you're the third quarterback on the depth chart, like who has that much belief in you? Let's talk about Joe Flacco, Super Bowl champion. Mm-hmm. He looked awful when he played.
Sure.
Awful.
Sure.
So he's a veteran, so it makes him cooler? It's better?
Not even to make him cooler. It's like, if I'm in a pinch, I would rather have a Joe Flacco than have Trey Lance.
Why? Because you think he's smarter, he's experienced.
But not only that.
I'm going to say he was bad. He was bad.
Joe ain't got nothing to prove. And they don't care about Joe. Joe is a veteran. He done did what he did in this league. He don't got nothing to prove. You got to let this young fella go and let somebody else try to develop him if you're not going to use him. He's a young player. And you got him at the third string right now. If you're not going to use him, you got to let him go, trade him, get what you could get for him right now.
They may end up having to use him. Like, let's just think about what we're talking about right now. This is a team that we absolutely think, outside of the quarterback position, is capable of winning a Super Bowl. I felt that they were capable of winning the Super Bowl the last 3, maybe 4 years with their roster. And we are up here arguing about how they're going to look with a 7th-round rookie who has played 7 games in the NFL and is coming off of an injury to his throwing arm. Sam Darnold, or Trey Lance, who we can see still doesn't have a grasp of the offense, doesn't look like he's an NFL quarterback, and they use 3 first-round picks to get him. feel crazy. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I think that is a crazy argument, a conversation to be having about a team that is as good top to bottom as the San Francisco 49ers.
Shady brought up a really good point. He said,
Thank you, brother.
You ain't gotta tell me what's going on in training camp. I got my own two eyes. I've been seeing Trey Lance. Have we not seen Sam Darnold since Sam Darnold came in this National Football League?
No, don't give me that, though. Don't give me the reason I don't want to hear that.
We got to go off of what we've seen, Acho.
It's a difference, though, Jay. It's a difference, though, Jay, because talent is dependent oftentimes upon producer. Lead actor is dependent oftentimes upon director. So don't tell me about, because we saw...
He done had 2 stops.
We saw Matt...
He looked garbage at both stops.
I saw Matt Schaub without Kyle Shanahan. And I saw Matt Schaub become a Pro Bowler with Kyle Shanahan. Let out that sigh. I saw Robert Griffin without Kyle Shanahan, and I saw Robert Griffin win Rookie of the Year with Kyle Shanahan. We all saw Matt Ryan without Kyle Shanahan, and we saw Matt Ryan in a Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan.
But we saw Trey Lance with Kyle Shanahan.
You think that Kyle Shanahan can make Sam Darnold into a Super Bowl quarterback?
I think he can make Sam Darnold into a quarterback that can get them there, yes.
You think Sam Darnold can get the San Francisco 49ers to a Super Bowl?
I think he can, because I've seen Jimmy G do it, and I don't think Jimmy G's as talented as Sam Darnold. I also seen Brock Purdy be one game away from it.
Not look like Sam Darnold on the field, though.
You're right, but how often have we seen Jimmy G without 2 phenomenal offensive minds? I was talking to one of the greatest defensive minds, a head coach currently, and I was like, yo, who the best offensive coordinators in the game right now? Who the best offensive coordinators? I said, Andy Reid. I said, McDaniel. I said, he's like, yeah, honestly, people don't give enough credit to McDaniel. I was like, yeah, Mike McDaniel cold. He was like, Mike, I'm talking about Josh. So we've seen Jimmy G with phenomenal offensive minds. We've seen Jimmy G his whole career with that. So, like, I just trust Shanahan. He's done it so many times.
The doctrine of Shanahan, yes, he has gotten quarterbacks. Yes. He has elevated quarterbacks.
Everyone.
He has
Everyone.
taken quarterbacks that are probably not going to do well in other places to the Super Bowl. He has not won one yet. So, again, the doctrine is we are all gods under Kyle Shanahan, but none of us are actually going to be able to get the ring.
But that's fair.
Because this is the conversation. To me, I just think that it's crazy we're having this conversation.
It is
Think
crazy.
about the quarterbacks that have moved around in just the past few years that the San Francisco 49ers did not bring into the building. Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady.
They tried.
Geno Smith. Try. There is no try. There is only do.
What is Geno Smith?
There is no try. There is only do.
Geno Smith is no better than Brock Purdy. Stretch out the body of work.
All right, well, I mean,
it is crazy.
Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Matt Ryan, who had success under Kyle Shanahan. All I'm saying is every year it's this conversation. One time I'd like to see the San Francisco 49ers go into a year without me asking who's going to play quarterback and what they're going to look like.
Which of
You
those
don't got to ask
quarterbacks
this year because it's Brock Purdy.
But which of these...
True. You're right about that. It is Brock Purdy. I know exactly who it is.
It is, and it should be.
It's just crazy to me that we can say, don't get rid of this young fella. And like Shady said, with our own 2 eyes, we have seen Sam Darnold play football. And Sam Darnold is in front of Trey Lance.
To be fair, though.
That means it is zero belief. I'm going to say it again, 0 belief in Trey Lance. So they don't even want him to be the 3rd-string quarterback if they don't have that much belief in him to go out there, so let him go.
I mean, just to be fair, I mean, we did go to the camp today and watch the Raiders versus the Rams.
Jimmy G looked good, too.
And we did see Jimmy G.
Look good.
Arrow, does everything overthrow, short. I mean, if it ain't 10 yards, it's a bad pass. So I don't know. I mean, Kyle might have something. I mean,
domination.
But you seen Jimmy G today, though.
But you got to let him go if you're talking about a guy that's been on 2 different teams and we can't pick out 5 good throws that Sam Darnold has made.
You're saying for Trey Lance's sake.
For Trey Lance's sake, let him go.
You are not going to
you. I'm not saying you owe him nothing.
Yeah.
But at one point, you can't just hold on to, like, we traded up 3 of these 3 first-round picks for the young kid, but they're not giving him a fair shake.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.